Now entering Terahertz Gap. Caution is advised. Anomaly title: Will-o-Wisp. Warnings: mutilation and transformation. Please enjoy your stay. And remember to return recordings to their cases.
Statement of Alex Duran on experienced broken continuance. Statement begins. I was a pretty young driver when I made that wrong turn. Young, but not inexperienced. Not at all. I do bog driving and I have for years. I've got a nice orange Jeep, and driving that in the swamplands is nothing short of a dream. Even at night, when the swamp swimmer is lurking about, I always felt good and safe in my Jeep. Well, it was my Jeep. Is it weird to miss that? A car? I have a new car now, but honestly, I don't want to step into another car for the rest of my life. Not that it's the car that's the problem, no, it's the road. Driving at night especially. I can't do it anymore. I can't even sit in a passenger seat and look out the window if there's night driving. Sometimes even walking at night gets to me. It's those goddamn street lamps. Most people feel safer when they've got those tall bastards lighting their way, but not me. No way. As soon as those things click on after sunset, I'm booking it home as fast as I can. I can feel them staring down at me, hunkered down under my hoodie and pretending I don't see their beaming lights. The feeling of being watched makes me tempted to run, but I'm not that crazy. I can walk just fine. Damn lampposts. God, they make me shiver, remembering how cold it was. Starving for warmth, for sleep. No, I don't like those sleepless night watchers. Not after the last time I trusted them. I won't be making that mistake again. The last time I relied on streetlights was the night I had been bog riding. The byroads are treacherous and twisted, as you know. Checking to make sure you know where you're going is a must, or else you're going to make a wrong turn. Like I said, I've had plenty of experience driving in rough areas, even without overhead lighting. That little Jeep was a beast, and I've often taken it out to think, to relieve stress. It was one of the nights I'd just gone out to have a good time. Just me, the moon, and the legend of the swamp. The thick smell of foliage and the sweet rot of the murky water was relaxing. The way my engine purred and rumbled, sparking a feeling of power. I personally don't believe in the dominance of humanity, but I do believe that we fight quite a bit to prove that we are better than the natural world, that we are extraordinary beings, even if we are not. I stopped for a little bit, surveying the muck and mire of the land around me, confident that my machine would keep me warm and dry. I spent a few hours driving around, bouncing along the swerving roads and splashing through the bog. Eventually, my path returned to the road. My Jeep shuddered as it hit the asphalt, shaking off the slick mud from the wet, sticky woods. I drove the dimly lit path, my headlight stronger than all the rest of the lamps along the roadside. I should have trusted my lights more than the ones above me, but I was in a good mood, looking up at the stars instead of paying attention to the street in front of me. My goal of the night had been obtained and everything felt good and right in the world. It was a gorgeous night. Then, I saw it. It seemed like a little flicker in the corner of my eye, easily dismissible as a bat passing over the lights outside. But then I saw it again, another flicker, a dark spot on the glass of lights. I slowed down, looking over the lamps on the side of the road. For a moment, I could not really figure out how to describe what I saw, but I smiled when I did realize that the smudge in the light looked like a little person. I could vaguely make out a head, arms, legs in the shadowy figure. After jogging the cute imagery away as a simple human imagination, I continued my drive towards the town. The flicker returned, however, as the shadowy figure in the lights was trying to flag me down. I'd say that it was successful since I slowed down once more, staring at the lamp. Once again, there was the blurry smear, relatively in the shape of a person. I shook my head, refocusing on the road. I decided that the dark spot must have been some sort of defect in the light covers. Still, it was persistent, and my gaze kept slipping to the little dark man emblazoned by the bulb. I found myself stopping at the roadside, staring at the next street lamp. The little figure inside was moving. I watched, bewildered, as the arms flailed, clearly an attempt to get my attention. I tried to reason that it was a moth caught inside the cover, but I looked back at the other lights where the smudge had been, and there was nothing. A chill crept up my back, a weird sense of curiosity blended with excitement. The night was beautiful, and the light was welcoming and delightful. The man in the light, seemingly relieved now that it had my attention, stopped waving and instead shifted to beckon. It flitted from one light to another, and I followed after in my car, driving slowly and carefully so as to not lose the little guy. He started going faster, and I did as well, keeping my eyes on the bulbs as I drove along. I heartily noticed the terrain shifting. I'm telling you, that Jeep drove like a dream. Eventually, I did realize that I was on an unfamiliar path, following the lights along a chain-link fence on a dirt road. I didn't really mind, since I checked my phone and made sure my GPS was working. But there also were no other directions to go. It was a narrow path without any forks. I felt assured as I drove down that road, confident and abuzz with the electricity of life. The lamp posts grew further apart, but there always was one in the field of my vision to guide me along that lonely dirt road. Yet, even though there was not a soul around, I did not feel alone. Not at all. I felt like I was being guided to treasure or magical place. After all, there was a tiny lamp man leading me on a night when the moon was but a sliver, a sweet crescent like a smile, the stars millions of tiny eyes winking at me. How much more enchantment can one expect? Especially in today's age of cars and technology wasting away our childlike wonder of flashing lights and breathtaking darkness. I must have been driving for... It felt like only a few minutes, but logically I knew that it had to have been close to an hour, if not more. The trees along the side of the fence grew ever more sparse, leading towards an empty space. Pitch black monoliths standing out against the dark of night, stars twinkling around it. There were slight sparks coming from within the building as well, a sort of breathtaking, spine-chilling sight that simply propelled my curiosity to unprecedented levels. I just had to get inside and discover what was hidden in the dark place. The little light person was waiting in a lamp on the way to the facility, and I noticed that the lights of the post behind and in front of them were dimmer than the one that they were in, almost drawing one's attention to that center shaft. I left the keys in the car and kept the headlights on as I stepped out into the night. Though I was on the cold side, I hardly noticed the chill. There was this excitement throbbing in my veins, keeping me warm, fresh. I glanced around, seeing the big processors for power or whatever. Those big battery-like things. I figured that we were by the old power plant that shut down ages ago. It was almost disappointing. Here I was, led on a fantastical journey, and right beside me was a mass of generator transformers instead of a castle or lake or something magical. Instead, it was, if anything, mundane and unmagical. Maybe that contradicts what I just said, but I don't care. Both are true at the same time. Maybe we're just spoiled as humans? No offense. Because we have our ovens and central air units and lights and cars, and we just kind of take them all for granted. Even if we think about them, they are all pretty magical. So in a way, I was led to a long-forgotten magical transformer. I don't know how much I like thinking about that place in that light. I should not have gone in to the dark, looming monolith. I should have listened to common sense and turned my back on what I should have taken to be a hallucination. I should have driven home carefully and scheduled an appointment with my doctor with a referral to shrink. Well, I certainly got that in a more literal way. But damn it, I hate thinking about it. I was so entranced, like Vasilisa walking up to Baba Yaga's chicken house for the first time with that silly doll in her pocket. Except my doll guiding me wasn't given to me by the too good mother, but rather slipped in by the crone. I pushed open the doors, spotting a padlock abandoned to the side, part of it missing, like somebody took a bite out of the curve. The doors opened with a creaking groan, but otherwise made no protest. Dust floated about, the moats lit up in the air, moonlight, like flickering stars dancing about. I found myself murmuring a soft, "I am here." It felt a profound surge of peace, certainty, a cataclysmic change in my inner soul. There was a strong sense that this was the moment that was going to change my life, and that I was filled to the brim with anticipation and bated breath. I turned on my phone's flashlight and found my breath taken away by the sheer massive nature of the gigastructures around me. It was like I had walked into a building where a world of tiny people lived in domes and exciters and turbines, each device an apartment complex, a workplace, shopping mall. I was lost in my own fantasy when I saw a light flicker on, the tiny lamp man hovering in a bulb above me. I asked where we were and did not get an answer. I'm not really sure what I was expecting. Even if he could speak, I wouldn't be able to hear it. He moved, anyways, to a light further away, guiding me once again into the darkness. His light bounced off the rusted, decaying pipes that were all around us, like the intestines of a giant, albeit slain, beast. They curved and twisted into the various machines, and far along the paths into the darkness until they faded out into that abyss. I followed the lamp man in a trance as I gazed about to the whole of the building, marveling at human ingenuity and the magic of nature, and our ability to harness it. It was, honestly, awe-inspiring. We traversed through the multitude of metal and twisted wires in eerie but tranquil silence. Every so often, the floor beneath my feet would give a metallic creak that would echo throughout the abandoned facility, but that was the extent of the noise. I beheld the dormant titans that would, when powered, roar and consume the dead, expelling the long-forgotten energy of their decomposing souls. We came up to a gaping mouth, and it took me time to process what I was looking at. We stood in front of one of those hulking turbines, but the front had been exploded off or something, leaving jagged metal like sharp teeth protruding forward. I felt my breath catch in my throat, as though witnessing the corpse of a leviathan on the ocean floor. I cautiously walked up to that maw, the light man beside me. Then he was in front of me. I stumbled back as I saw the light flare into the many-socketed eyes of the transformer, but I wasn't quick enough. The jagged metal teeth behind me had already snapped shut, and I can see the man in the light blazing around me. His light was cold as he stared inward of the trap, and I could do nothing but stare back, a sixth sense of my psyche shattering as my wonder-filled stupor was sharply severed. In the back of the throat, I saw a startling movement. It took a moment for my eyes to adjust, even with the flashlight, for my ears to process the slow, screeching, creaking. It was the turbine. The blades were slowly beginning to spin and wind up, and I think I stopped breathing, as if it were sucking out all the air in the cavernous cage, even though it was certainly not. I think it was out of a base fear, an instinctive understanding that I had been caught in a net unawares. It whirred faster and faster, and I could feel the whomp, whomp, whomp of the blades spinning. The lights beaming into the generator seemed to blaze and burn into my body. The heat was excruciating, like falling asleep on the beach on a sunny day, except you passed out from heat exhaustion for a week and were now nothing but a hot ball of burns. I still managed to drag myself to the jagged metal, jamming my fingers through any crevice I could hold onto to avoid being swallowed up. It was hardly any use though, even though I cut myself on the rusted junk. The force pulling me back was too strong. My good boots lost their traction on the ground, steam huffing through my bloodied fingers and heating the metal to an excruciating degree of warmth, like a dragon inhaling on its own fire. My hair whipped back behind me, twisting, curling snakes in a violent dance. Eventually, my burnt fingers could not hold on much longer, and my grip slipped. I launched backwards, gravity tilted 90 degrees. I felt a sharp cold as I spun downwards into the rotating teeth, dizzy from far more than just the rapid drop and twirling. I felt my vision go dark, the sharp pain ringing up from my heels to my head in an instant, though it did not go pitch black just yet. Without being able to move, the heat that surrounded me permeated my entire body, and even as I looked down to see myself, there was nothing but mulch and red vapor. The crackling fire in my veins was too great to be contained, pulled in two different directions. One force pressing me close to the coils, the other to the walls, the blade, the heat, and another drawing me outwards towards freedom and relief and cool air. I imploded. That's the only word I can think of to use here. I was changed, transformed into something else, and the me that I once was had been obliterated. I woke up feeling extremely cold on the ground of the generator's inside. I realized that what I thought was rust was blood, seeing more slathered around the walls and floor, pink hunks of meat clumped up on the rotors. I gagged at the stench, covering my mouth and nose as my eyes watered. I only had a need to escape. Only there was nowhere to go. I was in a dark tunnel, twisted and warped as though they were the innards of a snake. The only noise was a buzzing sound. Sometimes, if I'm alone and it's too dark, I can hear that buzz slowly inching into my hearing. But that doesn't matter anymore. Not now. Then I was lost, confused, disoriented. I followed the tunnels because that was the only thing I could do. I didn't have a very solid shape from what I could tell. Like I was still the mist that my body had become. Floaty. It took a while, or maybe a very short amount of time, but I came across an elevator. It only had 2 floors, the one where I was called wiring and the other labeled viewpoint. I took the elevator up, and if I had a stomach, I probably would have lost my lunch with the way the damn thing zipped up to the top. Though, once I was there, I could see. Brightness flooded the area, and I saw lampposts along the line light up. But they seemed extremely distant and massive and oddly on eye level. I looked around and it struck me that, well, I was in a lamppost myself. As I was processing that, I could also see that I was not in a lamppost. No, I was very much not. From my vantage point, I watched myself stagger out of the power plant, covered in blood and moving like I didn't know my own body. At first, I thought I was having a baffling out-of-body experience, or that I was almost dead, but then I saw myself look up at me. I felt a vehement hate rise up in me, a hate and horror. The lamp man, I could see the light in his eyes. He tricked me. I desperately looked around and found a watch on the ground, or something with 2 buttons, one with a forward arrow and one with a back. I strapped it quickly onto my wavering wrist, and I nearly lost my lunch a second time when I clicked the forward arrow, as it shunted me into the lamppost directly in front of me. Noticing that, the Wisp man started my car, and I followed him in an utter panic and hoping for an answer, jumping from light to light, much like he had led me astray. But no luck. He didn't even look up at me, not even when I couldn't follow him anymore. The old plant's range only goes so far. Maybe he was chased away by guilt? I know I was. Still can't look up at those damn lights. Look, I was there for a long time. Too long. I had sworn that I wouldn't be like him, but deep down, most of us want to live. And being in that awful place, well, it wasn't living. At least most people's headlights were too good to see me, I guess. It took a good while to figure out how the power plant transformer even worked. But I learned how to use it by the time I saw her car going down that lonely, empty road. Headlights dim. I had to do it. I needed to get out of there. You can't pin blame on me. I told her family that she is gone. My family doesn't know I'm back, and they never will. I don't care. I mean, I do, but I know it's just going to cause too many problems if I go back. I want to go back to before this happened to me. I'd give up a lot to go back. I want so much back. I want it all back. But I really want my car back. I miss that Jeep. I miss its hum, smell. I miss what it means. I need my car back. I've been searching all over, but so far I can't even find one that looks like it or drives half as nice. The girl's clunker barely made it to the power plant, and I nearly had to kick it back to town. I sold it for parts, hoping that I could find my car somewhere, maybe take it back from the bastard that stole it from me, that stole my life from me, turned me into this. I wish I could get my hands on that lamppost man, but also, I hope he's long gone. I want my car back. I want my car back. I want my car back. I want it back. I want it back. I want it back. Don't you get it? Don't you see? Don't you understand what it means? It was my car. I want my voice back. I want my body back. This one is too small. It's too tight. But I had to get out of there. I had to. I want my car back. I just want my car back. I just want my car back. I want my car back. I want my car. I want my Jeep back.
Testimony ends. The control room has denied a request to quarantine the Byte Transformer. Monitoring will be ongoing.
Terahertz Gap is written, presented, and edited by Control Room. Today's lesson: moths, like people, follow the light. Do not follow the light. It, like your dreams, will kill you.